this is going to be your best
Listen.
podcast ever.
Epicurean, but OFC and pink lemonade's pretty damn good. It'll put your boat in the marsh. Jesus did not die so you could eat yellow number 5. Excitable.
The nose starts off gentle with noticeable scents of grain that takes shape in the form of fresh baked bread.
Ma'am, you're in the wrong podcast. Educated-ish. I have used the term overproof for so long without really knowing what it
constitutes.
Yeah, because for
Is
me,
there a definition officially?
welcome to Bitches and Bourbon. After all the fuckery of trying to get everything together, we're live. Hello, Reva. How are you?
Oh, it's fucking Monday. So
Oh my God.
how about we just move on from that question and say it's going to be a better evening.
Oh my God. For fuck's sake already. I had a nap today and everything, so like I thought.
I'm jealous.
I know, like I thought like I was cruising and
Yeah.
next thing I know, my hair's on fire and like, oh my God. Anyway, hello.
Chicken with your head cut
Oh
off.
God, for no bullshit. So anyway, hello, Bitches and Bourbon. Welcome to another edition of Books with Bitches and Bourbon. And as is becoming quite the regular, we again have a full house.
We do.
So some of the voices you will have heard before, some of them not. And just in case this is your first time, we're going to go around the table, let everybody introduce themselves. Obviously, I'm April.
Reba.
Melissa, Kobi.
Melissa, Silva.
Clyde.
And here we all are. So we are jumping on today a little precursory to our book club event this evening, just so that we can get this done. We know that we kind of go through our books rather quickly and a little bit beyond or further removed from when we actually read the book, because we were trying to do a little catch up. We were interested to see what this would sound like, look like, move like if we actually did it in real time. So we'll see how it works.
Yeah, because a few of them were like, wait a minute, I got to refresh my memory because that's been a while since we talked about that.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, even though this is Bitches and Bourbon Book Club, Books with Bitches and Bourbon, neither one of the characters in the book we're discussing tonight drinks.
Right.
And to follow along with that a little bit, we're not quite that drastic, but we opted for wine this evening. So I am dealing with a Malbec champagne spritzer. Don't laugh. I love that shit. Don't knock it till you try it. The real truth is, if you throw a shot of tequila in there, it's pretty amazing. Do not ask me how I found that out. But it's good. And don't knock it till you try it. Anyway, Reba, what you got?
Pinot Grigio.
What about you?
Same.
I thought you didn't like Pinot Grigio.
Well, I'm in support of my brother's fiance. This is what she likes to drink, so.
And it's her birthday.
And it's her birthday.
Do you want to tell her happy birthday?
Happy birthday, Siobhan.
There you go.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
What about you, Silva?
I have unsweet tea with a splash of vodka.
She says that like we don't know how her husband makes her drinks, but that's fine. We'll ride with that.
He didn't make it tonight, so it really is a splash tonight.
All right. You say it, we believe it. What about you, Clyde? What you got?
I'm just drinking a glass of champagne tonight.
God, I love champagne. I really do. But Kobi brought over this bottle of Malbec because she doesn't like it because she's weird like that. So I'm trying to help her finish both bottles at the same time.
Thank you. That's what friends for.
You know what else they're for? Is to spill fucking wine all over the place.
So we know that the main characters don't drink.
Yes, the main characters do not drink, but we don't know what the book is.
Yeah. That's what I was getting to.
Nice job, Reba. Fuck you too. And I
You
love
love
you.
me.
And I love you. All right, so the Bitches book for August was 7 Days in June. The author is Tia Williams. It is a fiction book. It was released June 21st, 2021. It comes in at 336 pages. And Silva picked this one. And when we say pick, what happens is every month one of the members of the book club comes up usually with 3 or 4 selections. Silva was an overachiever, and she came in with like 7. We didn't get mad at it. It was pretty great. And what ended up happening, and I think we've discussed this briefly before, but what ended up happening was there was another book and I don't remember which the book was.
Book Lover.
Book Lover, thank you. And it came down to those two, and everybody was like, well, I could read Book Lovers or 7 Days in June. I could read Book Lovers or 7 Days in June. I don't really care which. I'm like, well, nobody else really cares which. I care. Let me go ahead and break this tie. 7 Days in June is really, really the ones I wanted to read. I'm going to start off with the description, as it's in Goodreads, like we always do. It says, Brooklynite Eva Mercy is a single mom and a best-selling erotica writer who is feeling pressed from all sides. Shane Hall is a reclusive, enigmatic, award-winning literary author who, to everyone's surprise, shows up in New York. When Shane and Eva meet unexpectedly at a literary event, sparks fly, raising not only their past buried traumas, but the eyebrows of New York's black literati. What no one knows is that 20 years earlier, teenage Eva and Shane spent one crazy, torrid week madly in love. They may be pretending that everything is fine now, but they can't deny their chemistry or the fact that they've been secretly writing to each other in their books ever since.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. What'd you think?
I enjoyed the book, if that's what you're asking.
What did you think, Melissa? You picked
Yes,
up the
it
book.
was. We did talk about that last time of asking the book picker first.
I enjoyed it. So I don't remember the exact way I got to it. I usually have a pretty to be read list that's long. But I have a really great friend from college who's worked with teenagers in difficult situations and things like that. And she had read it and said to me it interested her because of that. But then she also felt in working with the kids that some of that dialogue, like she'd seen or heard it before. And so that was the other reason. It was on my to be read book list because she had said something to me about it, and she's not a huge reader. So usually when she says something to me to read, I go and read it because she's not a huge reader. And then I just really enjoyed it. I loved. She's a single mom, so the teens' interaction with her and then with Shane. I really enjoyed that.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the unfolding of the relationship with them too. So I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, can I tell you, Audrey was my favorite character in the book, period. Period, paragraph. That little girl, if she had been my kid, she's either living her best life or we are going toe-to-toe.
Yes.
But she was my absolute favorite character.
This could be a great experience, or this could be living hell. Would make it how you want, but
That's pretty much what Eva said to her too.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, she was my favorite character, which is crazy because there was a lot of characters. I loved Cece. She is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But that little Audrey, she stole the show for me.
we would have loved to have heard more about Cece.
That is true. There were a lot of ancillary characters in there that I'm like, wow. She has 12 spin-offs in this one novel. I want to know more about all of these people.
Yeah.
What I want to know where she came from, when she goes and is talking about her past and her mom and going back to the original hometown. I want to hear all those stories.
Right. Because it just kind of goes there and then doesn't go
Leaves
there.
you hanging.
Yeah, seriously, there's 12 more books in here that I would read.
I did like it. I gave it 4 stars.
4 stars.
Yeah. It fell short one because I didn't really care for chapters 1 through 8, 1 through 10.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How come?
I just didn't care for it. A little too, I don't know. I just didn't care for it. I was I know that once we get to the actual storyline, because it was the same thing. Even Jessie, she was on chapter 3, she's I don't know that I'm going to read this book. And she didn't end up reading it. And I got past chapter 10. I was just skip all that and get to chapter 10. You'll be fine. But...
Okay, so I am going to have to tell you, and I'm trying to zoom in here so that I can actually see, because right now I can't really. I have to tell you that the prologue was one of my favorite openings.
Yes, I really enjoyed that.
And I have a note. It says, best opening paragraph ever. In the year of our Lord, 2019, 32-year-old Eva Mercy nearly choked to death on a piece of gum. She'd been attempting to masturbate when the gum lodged in her throat, cutting off her air supply. As she slowly blacked out, she kept imagining her daughter, Audrey, finding her flailing about in Christmas jammies while clutching a tube of strawberry lewd and a dildo called the quarterback, which vibrated at a much higher frequency than advertised gum-choking frequency. The obituary headline would be "Death by Dildo. Hell of a legacy to leave her orphaned 12-year-old." Stop. Just full stop. I was all the way in. I was all the way in. That first paragraph, I'm like, oh.
Yes. That was a great opening.
Didn't realize I needed to pour a drink before I started the book.
Yes.
It was just fantastic to me.
Yeah, after chapter 10, I was good. And that part was funny, yes. But from chapter 1 to about chapter 8 or 9, I was checked out. But I was just reading it because I knew it was going to get better. I was going to get to the point of the story. Get past all the other BS that was involved in the beginning.
You can say bullshit.
Yeah. So, other than that, I really enjoyed it. I thought the relationship with Eva and her daughter was fun. It kind of reminded me of me and Ava with a banter that we go back and forth with one another. Kind of like an open book.
Yes.
And I like the relationship that Shane developed with her, too. And how easy that developed. You know, he was real nervous in that initial meeting where he was trying to get Eva out of trouble for just showing up. And the whole situation with Eva Audrey finding out about her mom and Shane. And then he was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, just sitting here watching those two go back and forth, I could see why he would be like, ooh, I'm out of my league here. But then at the party, you know, they found each other and
connected.
Yes. And even her daughter was, kept on reminding her, like, he's a good man, give him a chance, blah, 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 whenever she left for California. Yeah. And so those were the parts that I really, really enjoyed, were the relationships that Audrey made with all of the main characters in the book.
Clyde, did we ask what you thought?
Not yet.
What'd you think?
Yeah, you just gonna have to jump in here.
What'd you think?
I am a little bit like Kobi. I was not fascinated in the beginning with the book. But as I got further and further into it and the characters developed more and more, I truly appreciated the relationships. And I think until she got to those, I wasn't real interested. But overall, I enjoyed the book.
Is it a book you would recommend?
I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the romantic type, so for me it was a little bit difficult to read a romance novel kind of thing. But I would recommend it because there are a lot of people who do enjoy that genre a lot. And
did you read the book that we did at
The Stopover?
At Bookcation?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I read that one.
That wasn't a romance.
That wasn't a romance novel.
Yes. I was just curious. Sorry. Squirrel.
Yeah, The Stopover. Yes,
Yes.
I did read that.
I will say the sex scenes are pretty hot. I was like, listen here.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
the sex
TL
scenes were pretty good, and they weren't all alike.
Like,
But he did say smirk in there. I said smirk, and I immediately went to April. I was like, oh, there's her favorite word. I wonder if she's going to even think of it when she goes.
I did, and I was like, I dare you to use it again. And she didn't. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh, like, oh,
You can have one.
that word.
You can have one.
one.
Yeah, I'm going to vehemently disagree about the beginning of this book. Because, like, the first chapter, when she is at the promo event for her books, right? And the menu of Pain Pleasure was the tourist attraction. Depending on your selection, waitstaff in bondage would lightly flog you or do a lap dance or whatever, if you so desired. Eva chose cuffs and cookies off the menu. And now she was seated on a Gothic throne, her hands cuffed behind the chair, while a bored waitress in a pleather corset fed her snickerdoodles. It was 2:45 p.m. And I thought that was... I just love... the whole beginning of the book, and then in chapter 6, when they're doing the author panel, and Shane shows up, and the one guy had been, like...
Yeah.
mansplaining and just like masculinity all over the place and not the fun kind, and he was like talking about how Ava's books were whatever and what could she really bring to the conversation because she wrote about vampires and witches and erotica. And then Shane comes in and says, girls are given the weight of the world but nowhere to put it down. The power and magic born in that struggle, it's so terrifying to men that we invented reasons to burn y'all at the stake just to keep our dicks hard. You made Gigi's magic broom 10 times stronger than Sebastian's fangs. Which trumps monster? Tell me everything I need to know about why men are scared of women. And then later on, Belinda leans over to Khalil and whispered, you want to reopen that fluff conversation? Or are you good?
There was a lot of sass in this book.
There was a lot of sass.
A lot of sass.
I'd lapped it up like great bourbon. It was so good. I loved it. I thought everything about the book was fun.
I love when Shane revisits that, when he's talking to his daughter and he's talking about there's the dude that doesn't like him and he doesn't even know why, and that's who he's talking about. And I love the way that she brought that back in that conversation, and then in that moment when he's building that relationship with her.
Yep, she is at that party with Cece. I think she's the funniest thing on the planet. She's like, "Oop, there's my mom. Got to go. See you later."
Yeah, I loved Audrey's character.
I really did. And
it tickled me too. Like, she would say something, and then Eva would be like, make a comment about, ask her what the capital of Maine is or something. Like, Eva was like very well versed in what education she was getting and she wasn't getting, and so she'd point out, and that tickled me. That tickled me too.
I thought that it was a neat juxtaposition with Eva and Audrey, and then Eva and her mother. Like, I thought that was an interest, like, to see those two relationships in contrast, because Eva's mother is who's Eva's mother is, and then, but you had this other relationship that is so functional and so close and so loving. It was just, I thought that was kind of a cool little, two relationships that involved the same type of people, and then the way Eva narrated her mother for Audrey so that Audrey didn't have to deal with all of that herself. I thought that was kind of a neat way to do that. The dream house was pretty great. Can we talk about the dream house?
Do they have one of those around? I'd love to give it a try.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, can we talk about the dream house?
And obviously you can break the rules. Because rules were very clear, and rules were clearly broken.
Clearly. Rules were blowed right by, damn near literally.
Overall, it was a good read, though. I mean, once I got into it, that was it. Like, I was able to just get right through it. And I like my Audible. So I listened to this on Audible. Did anybody else?
Yes.
I did.
And I thought it was great how, it was narrated. It's just, they had the different dialects, like the different
they tried to do
voices.
yes.
And, when the mom was talking, obviously she was from Louisiana. And I thought that was done really well, too. It made the book even more exciting to read
and easier to follow.
Sure.
Wait a minute, I got distracted for just a second. Who's talking?
Yeah, it was. I loved it on Audible for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too.
There, and so that I'm being honest, there were a couple of things I did not love, right? And one of them, and I guess maybe you had to have a little bit of that for her character development, but Eva's general insecurity just kind of irritated me a little bit, especially at the end. I didn't like the way when he didn't show up.
Yes.
That she immediately, every time he doesn't show up, every time he doesn't perform exactly the way she expects him to perform, whether she's been clear about expectations or not, she immediately goes to, he's still a piece of shit. Like, he's still the guy that's going to leave. Like, he's still this person.
No credit at all.
At all. I mean, you got a 13-year-old sitting here going, and I maybe you're being a bit much right now.
Yes, and I think that's also why her lack of confidence and esteem blows me away too, is because she is the sole parent a full-time basis for this young girl who that's what you're trying to instill, but yet it's so hard for you to accept for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting that Shane had told Audrey that she was a lot like her mom when she was that age. So somewhere along the way she had lost her way, because her and her daughter were very similar during that time. And even in the beginning of the book, when they talk about Eva approaching Shane, and she was just gutsy. She just sat right next to him and was like, hey, what's up? What's your deal? And it was immediate for them. Whereas she kind of became a recluse after that relationship. But The one thing that kind of annoyed me, and I know that it was part of who she was as a character, was all the constant migraines. I
Yeah.
was like, here we go again.
Can we do
Robbie.
anything without one?
I was like, damn. But, you know.
But I think that's pretty interesting, though, right? Because that was pretty central to who she was as a person. It spoke to a lot of things. It spoke to where throughout her whole life, this is a medical condition that she can't control, and there's really never been anybody to take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's always had to take care of herself. Like, Cece shows up because Cece's her friend, but she's never really had somebody that's been like, look, I get it, and here, let me help you. I think what irritated, and not irritated, I shouldn't say that, her transformation was so sudden as to almost be a little bit suspect, because the book takes place over 7 days, 14 if you count the flashbacks. 7 days 15, 20 years ago, and 7 days right now. And she literally went from, I lie about my health condition and I never see anybody romantically, to like fucking a dude in the dream house and telling a whole table of people, hey, I've got these debilitating migraines, you can all go fuck yourself, which was great and escalated quickly, I thought.
But I thought that she did it that way to show that their relationship was just that way.
Right.
I think we've all had that person in our life.
All right, don't call me out right now. Thank you.
I'm not calling you out. But I mean, I think all of us have that person in our life. And so I think she when you look back at their relationship, how quickly that went like this and stayed that way. I mean, because they were writing to each other through their books the whole entire time, and so that didn't bother me. Like, that didn't make it suspect for me, because I thought that was part of who they were to each other. And also, I thought he brought out in her, like, I agree with Kobi, like, she was gutsy when she first met him. I think it was survival. I mean, she didn't really feel like she had. She was doing everything she could to survive. I think when her daughter came along, when she talks about how she was in kindergarten and Cece had to come because she was so helpless, I think her daughter took some of that gutsy away, because she was trying to figure out where her daughter would never live in survival world. And I've got this debilitating disease. I don't have anybody to help or take care, so how am I going to do it? So I think she was very much trying to figure out, after her daughter came, it's all for her. My life is all for her, because I never want, and I've got this, and I've got to figure it out. So to me, that didn't bother me, because I thought it was just showing that that's their relationship, and how he could have her tear down walls that others just really couldn't or hadn't, or she wouldn't even give the chance to. And I think it was always there in her too. And flashing back to the childhood, you saw that. So that didn't bother me.
What were you going to say?
Do you have something to say in response to that?
Shut up. You know I do.
So go ahead with that, because what I was referring to had to do with the headache conversation.
So Silva's absolutely right. There were moments in this book where I threw it. Well, I didn't literally throw it, because it's on my iPad and in my audio ear, so I didn't actually throw it, but I figuratively threw it, because there was so much of it that I related to.
Yes.
Reed was looking at me, because when I said, oh my God, I read this book and it's so great, and she goes, I bet you liked it. Because Silva's absolutely right. Like, there's and I guess that was part of the thing, is because like my relationship mirrored so much of that I was like, how do you do that so fast? Like, how do you get there so quickly? And when you make the decisions that you make that were good and positive and healthy, like, I didn't do that. I was just like, fuck it. Like, this is either going to be great or terrible, and we're just going to go all in and see how this works. And so, yeah, there were parts of it where I had to stop reading it, because I'm like, who are you, Tia Williams, and why are you reading my blog? So yes, she's absolutely right. I am absolutely wrong. It was a great representation of that love story that stands the test of time, that no matter how it starts or how it ends, it's always going to be the one. It's always going to be where home is. And when it comes back around, you will put everything on the line and risk great heartache just to see if it works out. And yeah, so yes, I have an affinity for it, and I just still think it escalated quickly. Okay, so maybe never mind. I don't know.
Well, there was a whole lot to process in a 7-day time span.
Yeah.
in both scenarios.
Yes.
Yes.
And that circles back around to another perspective that I really didn't take into consideration as I'm reading the book, because as you're reading it, it really is not as prominent that you're just focusing on a 7-day time span. So while I got annoyed with like how frequently these were reoccurring, it's like then a reflection of, damn, I guess she has a whole lot of them in a 7-day time span. And so I don't know that we needed as much detail every time they happened with, we kind of got to the point really quickly of, her medicating, her self-medication process and, prescribed portion. So I think that part probably could have been dialed back just a touch. But
do you
when
think
you think about, just understanding the frequency of it in a week's time span is an eye-opener.
I mean, yeah, do you think maybe that's why she did it? I mean, because if it's annoying for us as readers, could you imagine living that way?
Right.
I mean, so I wonder if that's not part of the reason
Yes.
why she did
But,
it.
and that's why I said that I didn't really have the mindset of, holy shit, this is all happening in a 7-day time span as I'm reading it. So I think that just helped me reflect on that aspect of the reality in comparison to my original just annoyance with it.
No, I get it. I think that's right. I think that's absolutely right.
We do need to send out the links soon just so people can get set up.
Okay. Oh yeah, we do that, by the way, podcast world. Like if you want to be a member of Books with Bitches and Bourbon,
You don't have to live local.
you do not have to live local. You are more than welcome just to send us a message and we will send the link out. We Zoom it.
We have a Facebook group where you'll be able to see the book selections for each month.
Goodreads as well.
Goodreads as well.
Facebook has been difficult with us. We deleted our page because I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting with them. Oh my God! I'm gonna go ahead and tell the story right now. I got banned on TikTok again. Okay, and the first time was my fault.
Yes.
The first time was my fault.
We own that shit.
I own
We
the first one.
flat out was saying we're testing this because it doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense to me. Like
Yes.
I had watched this guy's live where he had spent like an hour on live smoking a cigar on his back porch playing with his dog. And I'm like, well, and then you see people vaping on TikTok all the time. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why you can smoke a cigar or vape, but smoking a cigarette will get you banned. Like maybe that's not even a thing.
Maybe we were misinformed.
Right. We were not.
So we tested it out. We did it that evening, and when we were already coming back from Bourbon Club, we tested it out, and the next morning we are notified that we are banned.
Banned. So
yes.
so it is a fact. Smoking a cigarette on your TikTok live will get you banned. It is also a tested theory. I'm not going to test it again to make it a fact. But if you appeal a TikTok ban, that will get you permanently banned. And then you have to like go through their email process. So like this time when I got banned, I didn't even appeal it. I'm like 3 days.
It was only a 3-day instead of like a 10-day.
3 days, I'll take it. But here's the thing that pissed me off. So the first time, my fault. I did that. We tested it. We were wrong. No harm. Like, I got it.
We owned it.
Got it. This time we're on there, and this guy gets on there, and he's like, "What's your body count if you're not scared to drop it?" And I'm going, "Are you serious right now? Like my body count? Like
Yes.
I've been married forever, and I don't know you, so I don't even know why we're talking about this right now." I'm like, I can tell you this. It doesn't include you. Like, you don't get a toe tag, so I don't know what you're worried about. 30 seconds later, banned for bullying and harassment. And I'm like, are we serious right now? Like, this guy got on my feed, but I'm the bully? Like,
And one of our buddies was on there too, and like he sends a message. I'm like, he's like,
What?
It says live was closed, and I said, oh yeah, we got banned. He goes, it had to have been that guy, and he even confirmed. He's like, 30 seconds after April gave that response, he was out.
I'm like, this is bullshit.
You guys were canceled.
Utter bullshit. But whatever. So what we suggest.
She is going to get to the point where she is going to start reconsidering that I'm allowed to start kicking people out.
I'm there. Oh yeah, I've already thought about that.
Reba's always ready. She's like, what is this fool on here?
and I have refrained. I've been so behaved with that.
Yeah, she has.
I have only done it with permission and discussion. Like I've been very tame with that.
Yeah. Nope. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Godfrey Ray.
I'm just like
That's right.
y'all
Watch
trolling.
out, bitches.
Yeah, y'all trolling motherfuckers are not getting me banned
Trolls
again.
can go back under their bridge.
I'm like, huh? I guess that's the part that pissed me off, and I'm like, how the hell am I the one that get banned?
yes,
Like
because we didn't report him.
he started the conversation, not
Right.
me.
Right.
I'm just having the
But I think-
conversation
I
he
think
asked me.
But I think that's why it was only a 3-day thing, because they have to check into it or whatever,
And they don't want
so
to.
it gives them time, if need be, for anyone to follow up. But they don't make it longer because it hasn't been substantiated.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So does he have to report you to
It's
get banned?
For us to have gotten banned,
Banned. He
that
has.
he
He
reported
had-
us. Like there's a
What a
report,
puss.
and so I have the
What a
ability to
bitch.
report people. Like as a
I mean,
moderator,
come on.
I can also block people. So
So yeah,
I mean, he started it, and you defended it, and he
Yes.
got his feelings hurt and went home and decided to ban you guys. That's some
Yes.
bullshit.
yeah,
Can't take the heat.
so we say all that
sit
to
the
say.
fuck on the couch.
Yeah, really.
So we say all that to say, the best way to kind of connect with us is going to be on our website.
Yes.
Goodreads works too because there's not a whole lot of interaction there, so you can always see the books and be a part of the group and see when the meetings and stuff are. The group is pretty great too. It's not very active, but that's simply because it's only to kind of put information out. But we would love to have you. TikTok is still a great place. We love it there. We go live after really everything that we do. We go hang out on live for a little bit. So that's still kind of great as long as I'm not banned. Facebook is
You're back on right now, right?
I don't know. I haven't tried, but I'm going to. All right. Well, it's 1:45, so I guess we should probably break down, reset, and get ready for all the other ladies to show up.
All right. Until
y'all.
next time.
We will catch you on the flip side. See you guys later. Cheers.
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 Gosh darn it, I'm already out.
Thanks for hanging out with Ape and Reba on this episode of Bitches and Bourbon.
Make sure to check out the links in the show notes, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Until next time, here's to bad bitches and good bourbon.
Cheers.
I mean, you have to like spicy pickle.